Today is Tuesday, 6 January 2026. I'm Bernard Chele, ready to bring you the latest news and updates. Good day and welcome to another edition of Citizens Movement Radio News. Here are today's headlines. Digital Services takes an assault on ordinary citizens, says opposition leader. Mnangagwa in Parliament dragged to court over PVO Act. Victims of 2008 post-election violence demands compensation from government. Now let's delve into the detailed stories. The introduction of the 15% digital services withholding tax by the ZANU-PF government has been condemned as a direct assault on ordinary citizens. This was said by senior opposition official and former Pilanda Bachabalala legislator Gift Osalo Siziba. Posting on his social media platforms this morning, Siziba said the citizens are already stretched to the breaking point because of overtaxation. Siziba condemned Mnangagwa's government for using a fascist extractive approach to governance of milking the poor to pay for luxurious life for the elite. A local civil society leader, Yangason Matete, has filed an application to the Constitutional Court challenging the legality of the Private and Voluntary Organizations Act that was passed last year. In his application, Matete cited Parliament of Zimbabwe, Ministry of Public Service, Labour and Social Welfare, President of Zimbabwe and the Attorney General as respondents. Matete argues that the bill that was passed by Senate is different from the one passed by Parliament, suggesting that some clauses might have been removed, which is a violation of the Constitution. Victims of 2008 post-election violence that was sponsored by the ZANU-PF government said they want the government to compensate them for lives, limbs and property lost during that period. The outgoing executive director of Zimbabwe Lawyers for Human Rights, Rosalina Hanzi, has recounted one of the most emotionally distressing human rights abuse cases from Etenya, where there was an abduction of a 3-year-old boy who was repeatedly placed in a cold fridge as a form of torture to coerce his parents into cooperating. Let's hear her speaking to CITES Zenzele Ndebele.
Do you have only one case that you think really, challenged you emotionally, not even legally, but emotionally?
I refer back to 2008. There were a lot of abductions that happened of then MDC people. And I think one of the cases that still haunts me is when they abducted and disappeared a mother, a father, and a little child, a little boy. I think he was 2 or 3. And during the time that they were detained, because I then spoke to the mother and the father. During the time they detained the parents, they also detained the child. So he was then, we labeled him the youngest abductee, because he was like the youngest of the group. I think there were more than 26 in the end, including Justina Mkoko and some Zimbabwe Peace Project employees. But when the mother narrated the story of how they were doing the torture, they were torturing her and her son to make sure that she talks and her husband talks, I think that was the most horrific torture that I've heard about, because she was saying that they would take the child and put them in the fridge, a cold fridge, and then out again. And I thought, but this is a child, this is 3 years old. Why are you doing that to an innocent soul? So emotionally, I think that really, really challenged me. I was like, but how can people be so evil? If you want to deal with the parents, deal with the parents. Why the child? That's an innocent soul. And then also, why are you using these archaic methods? Torture is outlawed under international law. You cannot torture someone. And in fact, for most of those who continue to use torture, you can actually be prosecuted in another country because it's an international crime. Even if you're saying Zimbabwe is not criminalized torture, you can be prosecuted by another country, in another country, by other stakeholders. So I just wondered how that happened, and it really that's when I saw that people can be very evil.
Members of the opposition have launched an initiative to help raise funds for a solar-powered borehole system for the family of the opposition-murdered activist Boneni Ncube. The initiative is being spearheaded by a senior opposition official in Midlands Province, Honorable Patrick Cheza. Ncube was stabbed to death by ZANU-PF thugs at a CCC rally in Mbizo, Kwekwe in 2022. For those wishing to help, please call or up 0779 565 976. The numbers again 0779 565 976. Let's hear more from Honorable Cheza speaking about the initiative.
We are saying water is life, and we are appealing to all citizens, to all Zimbabweans who can manage to come together to support this needy and very good cause. We all know what transpired to Mboneni and his family and the loss that they suffered. But the comfort that we can only give is to assist and give a hand where it is needed most. And we would appreciate if we can manage to extend our hands to help and support the family. They walk long distances to ensure that they can manage to have water. And we know with old age, sometimes it's not very good enough for people to do and walk such distances. I'm appealing, and we are appealing as a community, for all well-wishers who can manage to put a brick by brick. We can manage to work with us to support the needful cause. I would really appreciate if we can manage to stick together and show the love to the family. God bless you. Mboneni Ncube was murdered in Kwekwe, and it's an act that we condemn in the highest and strongest terms, and we are contributing towards the drilling of the ball because we feel as a family we need to show love to one of us. One of us in terms of Mboneni family, they are our parents, and if Mboneni was there, he could have been contributing himself to do the needful to his family. But we are sticking together as a community to say, let's pull the resources together as a family. This is the family that supports our very advocate Nelson Chamisa. So as people sticking together to contribute, and every contribution that one makes will make a difference. Let's rally together. Let's do the needful. In Jesus' name, amen.
A notorious Grube Medara Animal Zitra made his first appearance in court yesterday and was remanded in custody to 19 January 2026, with the court advising him to apply for bail at the High Court. Zitra is facing 12 charges, which include 8 charges of murder, 2 counts of rape, and 2 counts of attempted murder, which the state says were committed between April 2024 and December 2025. Thousands of Zimbabwean citizens are flocking away from the country, returning to their bases in neighboring countries. Beitbridge border post is reportedly congested with Zimbabweans returning to South Africa for work. South African authorities also recently announced that they intercepted over 1,000 Zimbabweans attempting to illegally gain entrance into that country. We spoke to Beitbridge Councillor Takavingei Mahachi, who gave us an update on the situation at the border post. He said,
huge crowds are stuck at the South African border post in Beitbridge, awaiting to get their passports stamped as they are returning to South Africa. This is a result of poor government by ZANU-PF, leading to high volumes crossing to our neighboring South Africa and all over the world, searching for greener pastures. For the past years, our economy is going down, with a huge number of companies shutting down, leaving us with no alternative to sustain. At the end, majority is resorting to immigration to other countries in search of better means of survival. Due to this situation, some end up losing money paying touts within the RISA border, who then facilitate or negotiate with the immigration officers and the other border authorities for them to get their passports stamped. Due to this situation, some, due to time, end up crossing through undesignated entry points, some risking their lives in trying to cross a fully flooded Limpopo River, which is a crocodile manifested river. This is because the government of Zimbabwe is failing to address the challenges being faced by its citizens for so long. So we are praying day and night that our God must allow President Nelson Chamisa to lead this country. I think it's now our season to enjoy our Zimbabwe in the hands of our God-fearing advocate, Nelson Chamisa.
cases of road accidents are on the rise, with the number of fatalities recording during the festive season. Member of Parliament Honorable Mutsamurombedzi expressed concern over the increase in road accidents and said apart from negligence, some of the accidents are a direct result of bad roads. She said some of the country's roads, like the Mondoro Skyline roads, have become death traps due to years of neglect. Let's hear Honorable Murombedzi speaking.
Indeed, road accidents are on the rise, and we are losing a lot of people. We actually lost a lot of people during the festive season, and the number one cause of road accidents is in this country, other than human error, is the state of our roads. It's actually shameful that we call these things roads. They are not even fit for humans to be traveling on. They are death traps. I can give an example of the Mondoro Skyline road to Mondoro. That road, it does not even fit to be called a road. And we've got numerous roads in our rural areas which are like that. They are death traps, especially now now that we are in the rainy season. You cannot even move with dignity. We need dignity for our people. Our roads are contributing a lot to accidents due to the negligence over years. Our roads have not been fixed for over years, and they've actually been written off. We need a new plan for our roads. We need a new direction because these are not roads. Our people deserve to travel on roads that are meant for traveling by humans. Our people deserve dignity. Our people deserve better.
The former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his wife Celia Flores made their initial appearance in Manhattan Federal Court yesterday after being extradited from Venezuela. Both pleaded not guilty to charges including narco-terrorism, conspiracy, drug trafficking, and related offenses. Maduro declared his innocence, maintained that he remains Venezuela's legitimate president, and described his transfer to U.S. custody as a kidnapping. The judge scheduled their next court appearance for March 17, 2026, and ordered them detained without bail. This is Citizens Movement Radio, your station of choice. Now in our sports news. Bulawayo Giants Highlanders Football Club have announced the appointment of South African national Thabo Senong as their new head coach. Senong previously worked as Bafana Bafana and Lesotho head coach and had a stint in Tanzania, where he worked as an assistant coach at Singida FC. His major success as a coach is the 2013 Under-20 COSAFA Cup, in which he guided South Africa to victory. Mohamed Salah scored a goal deep in injury time of extra time as Egypt defeated the spirited Benin side 3-1 to advance to the quarterfinals of AFCON. The match had ended 1-0 in normal time, but the 7-time African champions proved to be too powerful for the West Africans, scoring 2 goals in extra time. Meanwhile, in another match played last night, Nigeria walloped Mozambique 4-0, courtesy of a brace from Victor Osimhen and goals from Ademola Lookman and Aka Adams. Manchester United yesterday announced the sacking of Portuguese coach Ruben Amorim after 14 months in charge. Amorim leaves United on 6th position, and his last game in charge was a 1-0 draw against Leeds United. Former Manchester United midfielder Darren Fletcher was announced as the interim manager, while a new replacement is being searched for. Meanwhile, Scottish giant Celtic also severed ties with their coach Wilfred Nancy after just 33 days in charge. Nancy will be replaced by Martin O'Neill, who takes over on interim basis until end of season. To conclude our Citizens Movement Radio News, here are the headlines once more. Digital services takes an assault on ordinary citizens, says opposition leader. Mnangagwa in parliament dragged to court over PVO8. Victims of 2008 post-election violence demands compensation from government. The news on CMR was brought to you by Bernard Stele. Me and the whole team wishes you all a wonderful evening. Good night to you all. Meet us again in another news bulletin.